You're watching KRON On. We begin right now with breaking news.
Hello, I'm Sogomonian. We are following breaking news after special counsel Robert Mueller did not find President Donald Trump's campaign or associates conspired with Russia, according to the Attorney General. Summarizing Mueller's main conclusions, Attorney General William Barr said Mueller also did not have sufficient evidence to prosecute the president for obstruction of justice, but he did not exonerate him. The report does not recommend any further indictments, and there's no sealed indictments that haven't been made public yet. President Trump immediately responded to the findings today, claiming total exoneration, which again, the report highlighted is not the case.
So after a long look, after a long investigation, after so many people have been so badly hurt, after not looking at the other side, where a lot of bad things happened, a lot of horrible things happened, a lot of very bad things happened for our country. It was just announced there was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction, and none whatsoever. And it was a complete and total exoneration. It's a shame that our country had to go through this. To be honest, it's a shame that your president has had to go through this before I even got elected. It began. And it began illegally. And hopefully somebody's going to look at the other side. This was an illegal takedown that failed. And hopefully somebody's going to be looking at the other side. So it's complete exoneration, no collusion, no obstruction. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The 22-month-long investigation led to charges against 37 defendants, which included 6 of Mr. Trump's associates, 26 Russians, and 3 Russian companies. 7 people have pleaded guilty and 1 was convicted at trial. During his campaign rally in San Francisco at Fort Mason, presidential hopeful Senator Bernie Sanders made time to mention the report.
Before I begin my remarks, I want to mention to you what I think what most of you already know is that the Bob Mueller investigation was submitted to the Attorney General. Now, I haven't read the report yet. It hasn't been made public. I think I have something in my email box right now. We're reading it after this, but what I know is that it is a summary of the report. Well, I don't want a summary of the report. I want the whole report, because nobody, especially this president, is above the law.
And now, following some local news, due to improving conditions, the city of Benicia has lifted the advisory for those with respiratory issues due to emissions at Valero Refinery in Benicia. The Bay Area Air Quality Management District was on the scene this morning at that refinery, investigating heavy smoke that was emitted from a stack at that facility. Investigators have been there this past week and have issued 7 notices of violations for excess visible emissions and public nuisance. Air conditions are now all within normal limits. The refinery has begun the process of a controlled shutdown.
And what would happen is that it would actually cause a few flarings that would be seen by the public. It will be intermittent, and it will be in a controlled manner. The flaring, we were told, will actually burn more of the particulates, but you will still see emission coming out of these stacks, and they are steam.
In Escondido, police are investigating a possible arson attack at a mosque. Investigators say a fire started at around 3:30 Sunday morning. Members of the mosque were reportedly able to put the fire out before firefighters arrived. There are no reports of injuries, and there was minimal damage to the building. But a note referencing the New Zealand mosque attack was left at the scene. Police are now investigating the incident as attempted arson and a possible hate crime. Freshman Congresswoman Ilhan Omar drew a fired-up crowd outside the Hilton Hotel in Los Angeles on Saturday. Supporters of Israel and President Donald Trump were protesting her visit, but she also had people who were there to support her. The Minneapolis Democrat spoke at LA's Council on America-Islamic Relations annual Valley banquet called Advancing Justice, Empowering Valley Muslims. Omar referenced the protesters during her speech.
The other thing that is exciting to me to be in this room is that there are very fascinating people outside who for so many years have spoken about an Islam that is oppressive, an Islam that lessens and isolates its women. And today they gather outside to protest a Muslim woman who is in Congress.
The event also awarded this year's Champion of Justice accolade to Jewish Voice for Peace. Omar drew criticism from Jewish communities and Republicans after posting a controversial tweet last month. She tweeted, quote, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," referring to U.S. lawmakers' support of Israel. Some called it anti-Semitic. Omar has since apologized but has stood by her criticism of the Israeli government, opposing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the occupation. In some tragic news, a second survivor of the Parkland school shooting has taken their own life in about the last 2 weeks. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School community in Florida is in mourning yet again. Police have yet to release the age or gender of the student and are still investigating. This death comes just about a week after a recent Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School graduate, Sydney Aiello, took her own life after being diagnosed with the post-traumatic stress disorder. Her mother mentioned that she suffered from survivor's guilt after losing a best friend to the shooting. We also learned today of a shooting in San Francisco that hurt 2 people. Police say it happened at around 2 a.m. this morning on the 400 block of Bay Street. A 25-year-old woman and a 21-year-old man were found shot. They were transported with non-life-threatening injuries. There's no suspect information at this time, and they're asking anyone with any information to call them. In another shooting in San Francisco as well, 4 people were hurt and one of them ended up dying. Police say that those 3 who were transported to the hospital their conditions are not yet known. Police say that it happened at around 8:40 Saturday night on the 1300 block of Fillmore near Eddy Street in the city's western addition. The circumstances of why this happened are not yet known, and it doesn't sound like any arrests have been made either. Let's turn it over to KRON meteorologist Dave Spar for a weather forecast. It seems that we are getting a break from the rain this weekend, which could provide for some fun out there on this Sunday afternoon. But unfortunately, the rain is set to come back, so enjoy it while it lasts. Dave, what do you have to say about that?
Good day, everybody. We're dealing with increasing clouds throughout the day. Today, variable cloudiness, if you prefer. Here's how it looks like from space. That high cloudiness starts to thicken up throughout the day today. The real creature is out to sea, though, and we'll probably not see the heavier rain start to build on the North Bay maybe until really post-midnight and the overnight hours and to reach it tomorrow morning. We get a little break in this, and then Wednesday morning and Wednesday we get another hit yet again. We'll go ahead and plot all of that for you. The breakdown says variable clouds with an afternoon breeze. That's today now. Temperatures getting to the mid-60s, and then tomorrow rain heavy at times. Wind gusts getting at 25. And that's now again tomorrow, and then this week showers and rain. But then the second half of the week, things become more settled. Let's get to the unsettled part of the forecast in Futurecast 4. There's the cloud cover throughout the day today. The rain building in the North Bay, as you will notice, about, I'll say about 6:45 or so. There's the coverage just starting to encroach in portions of the East Bay and the peninsula. Going out further, there's the coverage and really lingering in parts of the Bay Area into the afternoon and the evening, as you will see. How about those winds to greet us in the morning? Here we can see them up there in the North Bay, some pockets of the East Bay as well, at first out of the south, then with the passage of the front, then due northwesterly. They won't be around for the evening commute on Monday. Longer range forecast models, here's what's shaking on that. This is again the Monday morning and Monday event, a kind of a break Tuesday, then some colder air on Wednesday aloft. That means some crackles of thunder in there and maybe throw in some hail for good measure. Then as we get to the rest of the week, it's kind of quiet head into the weekend. Subtropical jet low up here. Doesn't look like they come to terms on agreements, so we don't get them working in tandem. So that looks like the moisture not as heavy. 62 San Francisco, 68 San Jose, 64 for Oakland. Check it out in the 7-day forecast. Again, some claps of thunder for your Wednesday, drying out for the remainder of the week.
And enjoy it while you can. You're watching KRON on streaming news for a local audience.